Perhaps the most influential woman philosopher of her time, Martha Nussbaum, was born in 1947 in New York City. She attended college at New York University studying theater and classics. It wasn't until Nussbaum went to Harvard University in 1975 when she really found a love for philosophy. The two major factors that brought on this change were Nussbaum's exposure to sexual harassment on campus and the lack of assistance offered to her to take care of her daughter. Nussbaum is now a professor of ethics and law at the University of Chicago. Nussbaum's earlier work first focused on the capabilities of people, and often focused on the unequal freedoms and opportunities of women or those who are mentally or physically ill. She believes a society should be built on love, holding a maternal and giving nature to it. A society needs to provide to its people the resources they need in order to be capable of achieving wealth and success. However, Nussbaum argues this is not the case due to the mistreatment of certain groups of people. She goes on to speak that a society must be built out of love, not out of fear, which she focuses on in her book, The Monarchy of Fear. In this book, she speaks of the 2016 presidential election and the current state of fear that the American government instills in its people. Nussbaum speaks of the history of fear and how it has helped countries before. For example, she references FDR, who said, "We have nothing to fear but fear itself." However, Nussbaum argues that at the time FDR said this, Americans certainly did have credible fears of starvation, poverty, or external invasion. Currently, though, Nussbaum says the fear instilled into Americans is unprecedented and viciously motivated. Nussbaum argues that instead of a democracy, America has begun to act as a monarch. Instead of having a relationship between the government and its citizens built on trust and communication, the relationship has become one where a monarch is instilling fear into its people in order to force compliance. This fear is a major threat to democracy because it causes internal divisions and teaches people to fear the wrong things, or perhaps have illegitimate fear. Nussbaum argues that all Americans share virtually the same fears. It is not immigration or transgenderism or women's rights that people fear, but instead, they fear losing the American dream. This means fearing that ourselves or our children will not receive the same opportunities as others. Opportunities in which many people feel they deserve. When putting it this way, you can see that the internal division is not built off of hate, but instead fear, which is the baseline to the common emotions seen in America today of hatred, racism, sexism, disgust, or envy. Instead of using fear against its citizens like a monarch, America needs to find a way to internally trust each other and be able to look to thy neighbor for help, assistance, and love if needed. Nussbaum argues that without the depletion of fear, America will continue to put blame on its citizens instead of those in power due to the envy, disgust, or hatred that comes along with fear. The democratic world we see depleting now will soon and obliviously turn into a system of government that takes more power over us and controls us more than we ever thought it could. In order to replace fear, society must be built on the emotion of love. By doing so, we will eliminate the internal conflict seen in America and become a stronger and more supportive country.